You may be one of those grievers who asks this question: why did God let my loved one die? This is a very tough question, and it's on the minds of many grieving people. And I hope to help you think your way through it a bit. I'll start with a personal story. After my younger brother was in a coma for 10 days, the doctors gave him no hope of living, so our family gathered to tell him goodbye. After they took out his breathing tube, they told us he would die really within just a few minutes. But he didn't die in a few minutes. And to make a long story short, the next day he was sitting up in bed conversing with me. His physicians could not explain this recovery other than to say, this is a bona fide medical miracle. My brother still lives today, over 10 years later. Why did God save him? Was there a purpose and a plan? I would presume so, but a decade later, I don't know the purpose or plan. A few years later, my wife Deanne was diagnosed with cancer. She fought very valiantly, and we together found excellent physicians to manage her care. We left no stone unturned. The experts were initially optimistic, but the cancer eventually won the battle. And while she was bathed in prayer during her 4-year battle with cancer, she was ultimately forced to abandon her fight, and she died. Why did God not heal Deanne? I don't know. As Christians, we turn to Scripture for answers, and while the Bible tells us a lot about God and how He wants us to live, it doesn't promise that God will answer every question that begins with why. God may seem very real and present when we witness a miracle, and He may seem distant right now since He didn't heal or protect your loved one from death. You may be asking, God, where were you when I needed you? Or how could you let this happen? I'd love to share answers to your questions, but you know what? I found that there are no clear and satisfying biblical answers on this topic. So let me ask you a question, and don't answer it too quickly. If you did know the specific reason God didn't prevent your loved one's death, do you think you would be feeling better right now? Probably not. And I say that because you are hurting so much right now, not because you don't know why, but because your loss has left a big hole in your heart. If you knew why God specifically didn't intervene in this case, the answer would satisfy your curiosity, but it would not fill that hole in your heart. God knows what it looks like to have a loved one die. Most notably, His only begotten Son, Jesus. He watched the cruelty of His crucifixion. He did not stop the unjustified killing because doing so would have thwarted His bigger plan. He has revealed that much to us, and He gave us a preview of what believers can look forward to, our own spiritual resurrection and an eternity in God's presence. You see, while God doesn't answer your every question about His every decision, He has given you many promises through Scripture. He loves you because He created you, and He is the embodiment of love. He wants you to live in His direct presence for eternity. He only asks you to hold faith in His Son, Jesus. And He tells you as long as you hold on to your faith in Jesus, He will never allow you to be separated from His love. Friend, you can rely on God even when you are in a pit of grief and despair. He won't just pull you out of the pit, but He will sit in the pit with you. He knows your broken heart, and He'll be with you as long as it takes. As a reminder, you can download and print out the episode notes right below this video, which includes key points made in this episode and the text of verses that I mentioned. Then take some time to post a few thoughts below the video. Expressing yourself this way promotes your healing and is a blessing to others who are also on their own grief journeys. May God bless you in the days ahead.